His name is John C.
Not today, Satan!
So from episode 10 on, the show's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have segments. There's going to be specific kinds of things that we talk about every single week, and we're just going to have a fantastic time with it. First segment is called Not Today, Satan. So something that I've been doing over the past few years, just in my walk with the Lord, is every single week, whether it's on Saturday or Sunday or Friday, just some point over the weekend, I sit down and I ask the Lord what part of my character I need to focus on for the following week. It's very similar to the old prayer, Lord, search me. Is there anything that displeases you? It's similar to that. But by the end of the year, hopefully you've picked maybe 52 different parts of your character, or maybe you want to work on a couple of them a few times, but you've pretty much hit every aspect of your character that you can over a given year. And that's just a great tool to consciously, intentionally grow spiritually, mentally, and emotionally over the course of a year. So every single week on this podcast, I'm going to share with you my character focus of the week, something that I feel the Lord wants me to focus on this week. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to be honest about where I'm at with it and how I want to grow in it. And hopefully you can take the same encouragement as well. I would also love to know what your character is looking like and the part of your character that you feel you're supposed to focus on this week. If you want to drop it in the comments, go ahead and do that. This week, I am focusing on integrity. Now, what does integrity mean? Integrity to me means that you're difficult to disintegrate. You're the same person everywhere you go, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of who's around you. You're the influencer, not the influenced. Your character doesn't fall apart and disintegrate the second that people stop looking, or when you're peer pressured, or when you're tested by temptation. You remain the same. And this is important because whenever people think of integrity, they usually only think about honesty. And honesty is absolutely a part of integrity. I'm not going to dispute that. But when you have integrity, what happens is you become less concerned about the opinions of others and more concerned with just simply being able to lay your head on your pillow at night and say to yourself, I am a good man, and actually feel that way. You're not necessarily afraid to let people down all the time. You're more afraid of not being able to live with yourself, not being able to look yourself in the mirror. It means you're good at telling ugly truths instead of sweet lies, instead of the things that people would like to hear, or that would cause people to have a better opinion towards you. You're more willing to just tell the truth as it is, without any doctoring or twisting or turning, just letting the truth be the truth. And whatever results come of that, it is what it is. Integrous people are very good at letting go of control. Because what happens when you lie and the struggle with, and you've learned how to lie, the difficult part of unlearning that is letting go of your ability to influence the results of certain situations. Because when you lie, what you're doing is you're analyzing a situation and you're asking yourself, how can I protect myself from pain, from emotional hurt? How can I protect myself from consequences of my actions? How can I protect myself from a negative perception that others have of me? It's all about self-protection, insecurity, and at its root, fear. Every single lie is rooted in fear and pride. Fear of something bad happening that's out of your control, and the pride of thinking that you can actually get away with it. And so if there are people that have struggled with integrity, struggled with honesty, struggled with allowing the truth to do its work, even if it doesn't benefit you, here's what I would say. Oftentimes when you feel emotional pain or anxiety, what you're feeling is the necessity to let go of something. Behind every single painful lie is some desire or some fear that you just refuse to let go of. So what does letting go look like? Well, let me give you an example. There was a season in my life where I felt the Lord had told me that I was supposed to remain completely single for 2 years. And throughout that time, I had to answer a lot of questions. I had to face a lot of fears and anxieties, one of which was my desire to have a family, to be a husband and a father. Now, that's not necessarily a bad desire, but the fear and anxiety of not having that desire fulfilled in my life could have led me down some really negative paths. So I had to have a moment in a worship service where I just said, God, if I never become a father, if I never become a husband, if my sole purpose on this earth is just to spread your word and that's it, then it's okay. And if that's what you tell me to do, I'm going to obey you. And I'm going to love you and I'm going to worship you. And I'm not going to hold resentment towards you for telling me to do that. In that moment, this weight, fear, and anxiety just lifted off of me. And I felt so free. I didn't feel rushed to get into another relationship. I was able to be patient in the waiting. And it made that 2 years go by like that. So maybe just stop the video and ask yourself if there's anything in your heart, in your life, any desires, any fears that you've held on to for far too long that you need to hand over to God. And oftentimes all it looks like is saying, God, I'm going to obey.